Okay, so good evening, everyone. Welcome to this week's Executive Region Recognition Call. Our beautiful Nicole is out and about tonight. She's got some activity and some things happening, and she's bringing one of her girls home as a new region, which is super duper exciting. There's so much happening there. So I thought I'd take on the entire Executive Region this month to free up a bit of time and a bit more time in their hands for them ladies. So tonight I wanted to talk about closing out your year with confidence. Who would love to have a little bit more confidence in their business? Honestly, everyone feel like you just like that little bit more confidence. Well, I just come back, as nearly all of you know, I just come back from Sydney, where I was fortunate enough to see Tony Robbins live, which was absolutely amazing. And he did a lot of focus on confidence, and he spoke a lot about things that can help with that. And I just thought, oh, this is just so phenomenal, especially for women. I don't know about you guys, but when you become a mum and you've got kids and you really get caught up in all of their things and you don't have a thing for yourself anymore, and you sort of start to just live through them, you know, and when your husband does something awesome, you got to acknowledge as his wife, and that's about it. So to come out and step into the light again yourself is quite a big thing for us. So to learn how to do that confidently and grow with that is such a skill. That's the biggest thing I want to talk to you about tonight. If you don't have it, it doesn't mean you can't have it. If you don't have it and you never ever have it, but you see options to learn how to have it, then it's a choice and you're choosing not to have it. But if you really want to have it, it's something you can have and you can learn how to have it, which is so cool. So I think we all know that confidence is the biggest ingredient in your business. And if you put it in comparison to like a soccer game, when you have a look at a team of soccer players, for example, the best player on that team, aren't they always just reaping with confidence? Like, or you think of your football team or whoever the best player is, like they walk out on that field and you look at their face and they just look like they're going to win. They've just got that confident kick about them and they bring the entire momentum into the business. So that's how important it is, you know, and it's no different in Arbonne. It's exactly the same. You need to bring that confidence to the table and know and already see what you're going to create with this business and be very passionate about it. And it's about, you know, mastering it, being an Olympian in your own business. So you train hard, master the skills and master the confidence, and that's when you really start to shine. Learning is remembering the answers are inside of you, which is so true. The more you learn, the more that, because I remember hearing once that confidence is a muscle and we exercise all our other muscles, but do we exercise that muscle? And it's such an important muscle. So true. That's something that you need to master and focus on as well. So not right now, but just take a note to write down the things you love about yourself and to write yourself a congratulations letter. I know this sounds silly, probably like don't do it now, just make a note to do it either after the call or preferably tonight. Take some time to do it. And I know for me, I was really surprised when I did this, and I did this about 2 years ago. I remember when I first heard to do it, and it was in one of my notebooks, and when I was going through finding my confidence notes, I found it and thought, oh, I'd love to share that tonight because it really made me feel better about myself. I didn't realise there were things about myself that I really loved and qualities that I had that I was very proud of. And I can promise you that you have them too. When you start to write them down, they'll start to pour out and you'll be like, oh my gosh, I kind of rock a bit. I got some really awesome qualities here. And write yourself a congratulations letter. Sometimes we get so caught up focusing on what we want to achieve that we pay no attention to what we already have achieved. And for some of us, all of us have achieved things in different areas that deserve recognition and praise. So, and once again, as women and as mums, we are so busy praising and recognising everybody else. It's very, very rare that we stop and do that for ourselves. So it's so important to nurture yourself and take care of you. So that's a really great place to start. So in a nutshell, confidence is to walk into a room and not compare yourself to anybody in that room. That is so true. Don't ever compare your business to another person's business, or your hair or your shirt, or gosh, we're women, we compare everything. It's the biggest habit that we need to drop. Our parenting skills. You hear about a mum's child who was learned to talk faster, and you start to think, oh my gosh, my bad parent. my child isn't talking yet. Oh my gosh, oh, that child's walking too. Oh my gosh, my kid's not walking either. There's something wrong with me. I'm a bad mum. And it's just like a habit that we do this to ourselves and beat ourselves up. It's just totally unnecessary. So it's the biggest thing to start to be very conscious about and watch it about yourself. Be very proud of what you already are and what you've already achieved, and don't compare yourself to others. What's that saying? It wasn't curiosity that killed the cat. It was comparison. So true. And this is an area that you don't want to soften. When I was down at Tony Robbins, he spoke a lot. And to build confidence, you really need to be honest with yourself. And, you know, I suppose sometimes you need to be honest with yourself when you don't want to be honest with yourself, to unleash that confident person inside of you. And we live in such a society, especially in Australia, where there's a massive case of tall poppy syndrome. But we live in a society where it's okay for your life to be not what you want it to be. And we kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? We are conditioned to feel less fortunate about everything because no one wants to talk about the happy things, right? Do you know what I mean? Like if you're doing really well in your business, who outside your business wants to hear about it? Not very many people. They'll give you a couple of seconds and they'll stop. If you're going through a divorce and your child's giving you grief, they want to hear all about it. Let's talk about that. Like, you know, it's really messed up. It's not good. And if you are doing well, then they want to kind of bring that down a bit because you're going to make them feel bad about themselves, the whole tall poppy thing. And even Tony Robbins said that Australia is like the worst country for the tall poppy thing. It's just full on over here. So, you know, we sort of start to soften everything about ourselves and the reasons why we're not where we want to be. And we have this reason, and our people in our circle comfort us and cuddle us and tell us that it's okay. But it's kind of like, how did he put it? I'm trying to use the right words here because he did it so well and I wanted to like relay it in the same way, but I'm not Tony Robbins, obviously. But he said, we've all got this crybaby inside of us, right? And he goes, and this chick will your life up. Big time. You've kind of got to take ownership of her. And he said, inside all of us all is like this mad dog, right? Like think about the person that when stuff's going down somewhere and no one will make a decision and no one will take control and you're like, oh my gosh, get out of my way. This is what we're going to do. Think about, like, we've all had moments like that in our lives, right? Where you've just had to grab the reins and take this head on. Think about that person that you stepped into then, that person. And Tony Robbins says it's like every woman has a mad bitch inside of her and you've got to, and he goes, name her, like name your dog and call her out when you need her. And I just thought it was so true. It made me laugh. There was a few ladies that were sharing their stories and he said to them, like, if you had this person inside of you, what would they do in that situation? One lady was talking about her relationship and how she'd been feeling very lonely and she wanted out, but she was scared to be alone. And he's like, right, what would, you know, she named her like Carly or something. What would Carly do? And she's like, oh, she'd probably slap me and be like, come on, you're wasting your life. Let's move on. You've got the whole world at your feet. What are you still doing here? So, and I even admit, like, I named mine Sky. I always like that name. So I was like in bed the other day and I couldn't get out of bed and I was like tossing and turning. I just remembered it and I was like, come on, like, get up, you lazy cow. Like, threw myself out of the bed and it sounds silly, but it's the little things that they just work and they make you feel better. And I stood up, my feet hit the ground and I was like, yeah, I'm mad and I'm going to make this happen and I'm going to do some stuff today and let's go. And, you know, like, kicked my butt into gear to get moving. And like I said, it's so easy to be like, oh, I'm pregnant, I'm tired, I've been in Sydney for 4 days and the kids have done this and that and it's okay, I deserve to sleep in. Well, yeah, those things can be true, but if you hold on to all that and soften everything, they're going to hold you back from where you want to be. And that's the ultimate reality of it. You know, you have a destination and somewhere you want to go and something you want to achieve. How much do you really want to achieve that? And is your crybaby person sort of getting in the way? Do you know what I mean? I know it kind of sounds a bit brutal. He stretched this over a whole day and I'm dishing it in 10 minutes, but he it's so true. And it really spoke to me because we all have that. And don't get me wrong, you need to nurture yourself. It's so important as women that we nurture ourselves and take care of ourselves. but we have to be honest with ourselves and know when we can do more than what we're doing and when we need to call upon our dog, and tell her to take control because I need some help here. Okay, where am I up to? I'm not following my notes at all. Yeah, as I was saying before, decision is a muscle. And to become a leader, you need to be able to make decisions with confidence. Like I said, you need to be that person that was like, get out of the way, I've got this, I can make this decision. All things can be changed once you understand one thing. It's 80% psychology and 20% mechanics. It's all up in here, and so is confidence. Like I said, it's a muscle up in here that we need to work. And once you know what triggers you in your business, know what it is that triggers you, not just in your Arbonne business, but in life. Like, where you are now and where you want to be, right? We've all made a note of that. At some point, we've written down exactly where we are today, and maybe we need to refresh and revise that and do that as well when you write your letter, write exactly where you are now and where it is that you want to be. For example, if my friend's in Perth and I'm in Sydney and we want to get to Brisbane, I'm going to head north. She's not going to head north. She's going to go a total different way. So you need to know where you are so that you're going the right way, because everyone takes a different way to get there. Does that make sense? Everyone's journey is different. Everyone has different things that they need to overcome, different books that they might need to read. And the same book that spoke to me might not be the same book that spoke to you. So once you really have a good understanding of where you are now, you can know where you want to be, the how will just present itself. I promise. It's when that is concrete, that you know exactly where you're going, that starts to come about. I'm getting so off track. I get so passionate about this, I just start rolling on. So where am I up to? And anyone can do this. Anyone can take charge and anyone can make the decisions, but very few do. Unfortunately, we live in a society of about 90% followers and 10% leaders. But like I said, anyone can lead. Anyone can grab the ropes, call upon their dog and take ownership and take what they want and decide to make the life they want a reality for them. So it's something that, like, I can't stress enough in saying all that, though, that success without fulfillment is like the ultimate failure. Like he was talking about Robin Williams, right, as an example. When I say know what triggers you, when Tony Robbins was talking about knowing what triggers you, he was saying always know that just wanting riches and wealth will never, ever create happiness. So knowing why you want to create that, which kind of comes back to your gratitude, is really where your confidence comes from as well. And it's what will drive you, and it's what will create that ultimate fulfillment in your life. Things will not do that. Okay, Mercedes-Benz will not do that. It will not create that fulfillment. You need to fulfill yourself before that happens, and working on your confidence is a big key to that. And there's so many books. You can jump on Google and YouTube, books to help build confidence, YouTube channels to help build my confidence and things like that to help you get stronger in that area, because the number one reason that we all hold back from that is obviously fear. We're scared of what people think. We're scared of what's going to happen if it doesn't work out for us. And all these things that hold us back are ultimately linked to fear. And he said, what a great way to look at it is to flip fear around onto itself. So instead of being scared of what people think, be scared of having a life where you haven't squeezed everything out of it that you can, every piece of fulfillment that you can, where you have missed, instead of hitting a point in your life and feeling like you've missed so many opportunities. Be scared of that more than what that person's going to think, because we all have fear, and there's no way in the world we will ever not have it. We will have it in some way or another. It's how you work with it. He got like a person up on the stage as his fear, and he sort of started dancing with it, and he was like saying, make fear dance with you in your world, like spin it around onto itself and put it in the right places. Does that make sense? It makes sense in my head, but sometimes when I say it out loud, it might just be confusing. But yeah, and I never understood that for me either. I got to be honest, I remember hearing a lot of times people saying the fear in your business, and I was like, I don't have any fear in my business. I don't understand what people are afraid of. I'm not afraid to talk to people and offer the business, and I never got it. But after that conference, I found where I do have my fears and where they are holding me back. So we all have them in some way or another, and find them and twist them around and find what triggers you and how you can use your fear to not have that. You know, find your leverage. Does that make sense? Does that, yeah? Okay. I hope I haven't missed anything. My notes are way too small for me to keep up with. He spoke about, you know, when I say cut through and be very honest with yourself, if you're not growing, and like he said, one word, to sum up happiness in one word, is progress. And how true is that? How happy are we when we're progressing in something? It's like the ultimate. You know, when you have been reading the same book to your child every night, trying to teach them sounds, and then one day they read it back to you and they start to get it, it's like the happiest moment. You're making progress. You know, when the washing's all put away, it's like, oh, progress, that's awesome. It feels so good. When you really do something big for you in your business and start to create financial freedom and start to create that for your children, can you imagine that sense of progress and how that feels? It is the ultimate happiness, most happy feeling in the whole entire world. It really is. And I'm nowhere near there, nowhere near where I want to be. But I feel I'm in my progress now, and every day I wake up excited and happy about that, because I will not go to bed that night without having some sense of progress in my business somewhere and helping people to feel the same thing. So, you know, when we're not reading and we're not doing that, we're either growing. It sounds so brutal, but we're either growing or we're dying. It's so true, right? We're either going up or we're going down. There's no in between. There's no, I'll just hover and read the book next week. You know, every day that you're further away from doing something to get towards your goal, you can feel your spirits just go down further and further, and it's harder and harder and harder to lift it up. And I can promise you that what goes down with that is your confidence. You know what you got to do. You know what needs to be done. He said, you know, when he was talking about what the main thing is to understand to get ahead in business and success and fulfillment, and people said it's your strategy, and he goes, no way. He said, like, 98% of everyone knows what they have to do to do it. It's why they want to do it. It's the triggers in them that will make them get up and go and do it. That it's the psychology. It's 100%, 90%, sorry. No, 80 it was. 80% psychology, 20% mechanics, right? That he said that over and over again. So 20% of your time is on learning the business and understanding that, and 80% is understanding your mind, your muscles in your mind, and how that works and applying it in the right ways. Okay. So, oh yeah, this is great. So as an example, think of something that you ever really, really wanted and you got it. So just take a moment to like vision something, whether it was a new car, whether it was the house that you wanted to have, whether it was having a baby, whether it was your husband, whatever it was. Think of something that you really, really, really wanted, and then you got it. Everyone sort of got something? Because he explained that there's two big steps that need to happen to get something that you really, really want. And the first one is, and I bet you did this with the thing that you're thinking of, is you obsess over it. You obsess over it so much. It's all you think about. You know, in spare moments in your time, you're on Facebook Google and car sales looking at it, or you're on realestate.com looking at it, or you're on his Facebook page looking at him, or you're at this doing that, or you know what I mean? You're Googling different ways to fall pregnant or whatever. You obsess over it. You are reading about it constantly. It's always in your mind. Nicole said at that party that when I met Nicole, I had a Mercedes-Benz as my screensaver. I wasn't even a district manager yet. I was brand new into the business, and I had a district manager as my a Mercedes-Benz as my screensaver, and she laughed at me and said to her friend she thinks she's going to get a Mercedes. Like, she thought it was really funny. But that's how obsessed I was over it. Like, I thought about it so much, and I just had it in my mind that I was going to make it happen, and that was it. Nothing was going to get in the way of that. And you're the same with the thing you're thinking of, right? Like, nothing could have stopped you from that happening. You were obsessed with it. And then the second one was massive action to make it happen, right? How many times did you have to go to the bank to make that mortgage happen? How much paperwork and things did you have to fill in, hours work and pay slips? And it was huge amounts of effort that went into that to have that become a reality for you. And it's the same thing with everything. So the first thing we need to do is obsess over it. The second thing we need to do is take massive action to make it happen. And a great way to know where to put that massive action is to master or model someone who's done it before, right? So save yourself a bit of time and just copycat. And that's for so much in life. Like I said, that's not just Arbonne. I'm talking about everything. You might be a hairdresser and your goal is to be the best by the end of the year or something. Find the best hairdressers on YouTube and watch them over and over and over, like whatever it is that you're passionate about. For me, it was my Arbonne business. It was creating financial freedom in my home. So I was constantly in contact with my uplines. I think I drove them crazy. I don't think that was possible, but I was calling them all the time. I don't think they ever had a chance to even call me to see where I was and if I was okay. I rang them every day to see if I was doing it right and what they would do in this situation and how I'd handle this, until I had mastered it myself and I knew what they would say if I rang them. I had it down pat. I remember once Stuart Armfield saying on a call, he has WWSD written on a Post-it note in his kitchen, and his upline, Sarah Dunning. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of Sarah Dunning before. She's the top income earner in the UK. She's a 4-wide MVP over there, and she's Stuart's upline MVP. And that stands for, what would Sarah Dunning do? So whenever he's stuck in a pickle or in a situation, he thinks, right, what would she do and how would she handle this? That's who I'm modeling. So what a great thing to, like what would, so whoever, Cassandra House, Kelly Budnick, whoever you really look up to, what would they do in this situation? And when you communicate with them so much, you'll start to know the answer to that without even speaking to them. You'll just know what it is that they would do and what you need to do in that situation. And the final thing to really seal the deal in terms of confidence is grace and gratitude. And it's so, so, so true. And we hear it all the time. And I remember I have done the gratitude journal thing before I really got set in my ways with it. I used to do it for like 4 days and then stop, do it for 5 days. And then I was like, I can't think of anything new. I'll just give it a break today. I'll just think of it in my head today. It doesn't matter if it's in my head, not on the paper, things like that. But, it's normal. It's what we all go through. But if you can discipline yourself in this area, it makes you start your day so much better, which is going to obviously really bring the confidence into your world. And it just seals the deal with what you're after. The more you acknowledge, the more that comes to you. I just believe that 100%. The more you're grateful for what you have, the more of that you're going to get. And there are so many things we can be grateful for. Energy is obviously the difference in everything. Being a high-level energy person, which is also a decision. So he asked us, where do we think we get our energy from? Most of us said food. I assume eating right is where we get our energy from, and it is. It's got a lot to do with where you get your energy from, but it's not the main source. Otherwise, like, you think Christmas Day, how much energy do you have Christmas night after you've eaten the whole entire house and Christmas pudding and half a roast pork and half a roast chicken or whatever? You have no energy at the end of the day. And then we thought maybe the next one was sleep. So he tricked us a lot, like put your hand up if it's this, or put your hand up and yell out what you think it is. And someone yelled out sleep, and he's like, who has slept 10 hours at night and woken up still extremely tired and could easily roll over and go back to sleep? So it's not sleep, it's psychology. Our energy comes from psychology, 100%. If you hear an upbeat song, who's been out, I don't know if you guys go out like to where there's bands or whatever, but for me, sometimes when I go out, I haven't done it in a while, no matter how tired you are, right? So say you're tired and you're waiting for your drunk friend who just won't stop dancing and you're over it and you want to go home, and it's 2 a.m. and you've had enough, and then your favourite song comes on, and it's like all this energy comes and you don't know where the heck it come from, but it's like, oh, this is my jam, and you jump up and you start moving and you start dancing. That energy was all in there the whole time. So it's a decision whether you're going to turn it on and be excited to turn it on. So once again, it comes back to what triggers you to turn it on. Does that make sense? Find what it is that you're excited about and tap into that. Like, I remember thinking and daydreaming all the time about what I would do when I'm an ENVP, what my life would look like, what I would have, what I'd be able to witness with my kids. And when I would think about that, it would snap me into energy. I'd have high energy and be very excited to start creating stuff. So it's the same sort of thing. Find what triggers you and know that you do have that energy in there. Here's an example. I would love to give you an example. Oh, thanks, Shelley. Yeah, that's right. I'll give you an example. Sister Madonna is this lady that Tony Robbins was coaching over in America, right? And well, not coaching, sorry. He coached her later on when she was like 70. But this is her story from when she was 40. She was extremely overweight and she got teased a lot in her church or whatever they call where nuns live. She was a nun. So, yeah, she was very overweight. People made fun of her. And one day she decided she was going to do something about it and she was going to walk every day. And every day after each day, she would walk 10% more, right? From the age of 40 to 65, she ended up doing 36 Ironmen. How incredible is that? She's 65. For her 70th birthday, she went to Hawaii for her birthday, and she saw on a drink door in the shop in Hawaii an advertisement for the Ironman. And she thought, oh, it's my birthday. I might give myself a birthday present and I'm going to do the Ironman. So she went and enrolled herself and she did it. So can you imagine, she was 70 and she was literally overtaking 35-year-old men doing this Ironman in Hawaii, up volcanoes and stuff on this bike. And then the winds kicked in, and any of you guys, Shelley, you were in America. When them winds kick in America, they're stronger than here. I tell you, they are powerful. They were like blowing me up the street. And these winds kicked into, and they went from 10 miles to 15 to 35 miles an hour until she literally became the flying nun and went flying off of her bike into the gutter and really badly hurt herself. So what they did when that happened was they said, no more entries over 60 or something. They put some age on it. And she was ropeable. She was like, it's got nothing to do with age. Anyone my size would have fallen off that bike. Has nothing to do with how old I am. Can everyone hear me okay? Because you're all moving really fast. Yeah? You're all like, my internet's sketchy, but you can hear me? Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, so she went flying. She hurt herself. They put the age thing on it, and she fought it and fought it and fought it. And then she flew back over for her 71st birthday when the Ironman was going again, and did the Ironman without a number because they wouldn't let her do it. And she's like, well, they can't stop me from just doing it. And she did her personal best record at 71 years old. How incredible is that? What an amazing, amazing story. And the reason he told us that is to say we teach ourselves every day that as we get older, it's okay that we have less energy because we're getting older. Or it's because of this, or it's because of that. But it's just not true. Age and all that has nothing to do with energy. It's all up in here. It's all what you tell yourself every day. You do have the energy. Choose the healthier option. You know, he explained to us as well that, do you know in our bodies what it is that uses the most amount of energy is our digestive system. So what we eat before we go to bed, our body digests all night. So when we wake up in the morning, the reason who goes to bed has 10 hours and wakes up tired sometimes. Maybe have a look at what we had for dinner. I know that's me. I do it all the time. Probably didn't eat that bowl of Fruit Loops before I went to bed. My digestive system doesn't know how to deal with it. And now I wake up tired. You know, if I had had a piece of fruit, I probably would have woken up with a lot more energy. But once again, it still is a lot of psychology and things like that as well. So I'm not that old after all, bloody mind. It's so true. It is. And it's hard because we surround ourselves with people that say, you know, it's because of this that you don't have energy. I hear every day, you're pregnant, it's okay to not have any energy. And it is true to some extent. Like, I'm not this psycho person who is ignoring the fact that I'm pregnant, but there's only so much of that that you can use before it's the crybaby in you that needs to just get up. You know what I mean? And start to face it and make what you want become a reality. So I wanted to close out the call tonight with my 5 top tips to really building your confidence. Obviously, as I said tonight, is all about confidence and how to find that inner spark in you to walk in a room like you're already an ENVP or whatever it is that you really dream and desire to be. So number 1, work that confidence mental muscle. Not everyone is exercising this. So by doing that, consciously think of the positives. Pay attention to what you see in your life. It's not your lifestyle, it's what you see. I remember once Jim Rohn saying some people missing the beautiful sunset on the other side of the window because they're too busy whinging about the cracks in their glass that they need to get the glass fixed. You know, it's so true. Some people snowboard in the snow while others freeze. What is it that you're doing? Be very conscious of that every day, of what you see and what you take in, and mark down the positives. Take a moment and stop and write down the positives. You know, there are moments, I used to stick little pink hearts in my house to make me not yell at my kids. I'm one of these people just loses it and starts screaming. So to stop doing that, I stuck little pink hearts around my house to remind myself that I really loved my kids. I knew I loved my kids, but sometimes you just need reminding of how grateful you are to have your healthy, happy children running around, because you want to wring their necks because they're driving you crazy. So I used to stick them around, and they worked. They worked for me to make me do that. So maybe stick a note around positives and just stop for a second and think of the positives that you're going through in that moment. And I used to stick my notes in the areas of the house where I felt the most amount of stress. So I'd stick it in my fridge, in my bathroom, like the areas where my kids were most likely to put my stress radar up a bit higher, and it would just make me feel better. It was a conscious thing that helped me. I don't need them now because I've made a habit to myself and I know now, but in the beginning it was a way to help me create the habit of doing that. So create a habit of seeing the positives around you and not seeing the cracks. Well, not seeing the cracks more than the positives. Music, what you play around your house. Do you guys play a lot of music while you're bopping around and getting jobs done? I don't know about you guys. I love my music. I've always loved music. Did you know, little fun fact, that music has been known to help plants grow? They play music to plants and it makes them grow faster. That says so much in terms of growth. Like, that's insane how much it can make you feel better. Tony Robbins played so many motivational music down there, and I swear it kept the conference going. The second night we were in there, we left. The conference started at 9 a.m. Jared and I left at 11 p.m. because I was just so tired. I said, I just can't do this anymore. And he doesn't just let you sit down, like you were standing and moving and doing this and doing that. And it was extremely exciting and fun, but I couldn't handle it anymore. And I felt like a little bit pathetic to walk out because you kind of had that whole atmosphere going, right? Like, who really wants it? And I was like really sticking my belly out. I'm leaving because I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant. That's why I'm leaving. It's not because I'm tired. But I found out the next day that they went till 2 a.m. in that. I'm like, that is insane. And I reckon it had a lot to do with the music. He had everyone so pumped. Like I said, when you're out and you hear your favourite song, it just gets things going again, and it just helps you find that energy that you forgot you had. And balance. Balance is the third thing. You need to exercise that muscle. Tell yourself how amazing you are all the time, but make sure you leave room for growth. You know, create that balance there. Number 2 is find your qualities. We all have them. Don't you dare tell me you don't have them, because you do. You are all loaded with them. If you don't know what they are, go join some classes. Go join some singing lessons or some cooking classes or guitar lessons, or learn to speak another language. They're all around us, things that we can go and do to find what we're really good at, because I promise you that there's something there that you will be probably quite surprised how good you are at it. Number 3 is a buddy system. Find someone you trust to share your insecurities and your journey. Internet forums are really great for this too, because you can remain anonymous and just generally have a chat, get it off your chest and talk to people about how you really feel about things that you might not have someone you trust enough to speak to about that. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Number 4, don't focus on what you cannot do, but what you can do to help yourself. You know, sometimes we feel so overwhelmed with what we can't do and what we see other people doing and wish we could do. Instead of just focusing on that, focus on, right, what can I do? I can read this book. I can organise this tote drop. I can do this. I can do that. That's going to help me feel like a better person. It's going to help me feel that sense of progress in my life. That's going to make me feel so great. And number 5 is pass all of this on to others. Loving others will inspire you to love yourself. The most rewarding thing in this whole business for me has been the love I get from my team, by far, hands down. When I hear from someone, thank you so much, Denny, I feel so great about myself. I've never felt like this in my life. That is like more rewarding than any paycheck and anything will ever be. And I never join this business for that. I didn't understand how powerful and strong that is and that feels, but to hear that from someone feels amazing. So do it for others, and pass on what you learn and what you know, pass that on to someone else who needs to hear it as well, because it really will inspire you to love yourself even more. So that's it from me tonight, ladies. I hope that was good. Does anybody have any questions that they want to share? No? Everyone's feeling pretty good? Everyone's excited and pumped to go into October? Feeling confident? There's a really great song. You're welcome, honey. There's a really great song called Jungle. You know that song, Follow Me Into the Jungle? You know that song? I'm not singing anymore. It's a really good song. And he played it a couple of times down there, and I've been playing it in my car and stuff because it just makes me feel really good. Hang on. This song. Do you know that song? It's by X Ambassadors. And he plays that song when you call upon your mad dog. You need to help take ownership and create the confidence. Oh, awesome. All right, ladies. Well, you guys have a great night. Thanks so much for plugging in. As always, I love to see your faces and to see you all on. Love the Rocky set too. Yes, I love that soundtrack too. Actually, I haven't listened to that one in a while. That is a good one though. Let me take a quick photo of you guys. I love Sweet Transvestite. Okay. Let me just take a quick photo. Everyone smile. Okay, go and have an awesome last night of September. Bring home your goal and what you were aiming for this month. And if you need a hand setting your goal for next month, you all know where I am. Please feel free to contact me. I'd love to hear from you and help you out and help you in any areas that you need, not just goal setting. If there's other things you need personally in terms of personal development, contact me again, because like I said, I really generally would love to help you guys and help you step outside your comfort zones and start to feel more confident in what you're doing. Have an awesome night, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye.